Among all the 3D software out there, Blender is probably the one that gets updated more frequently. Since the revolutionary update of 2019, with Blender 2.8, we have seen a lot of new features and enhancements around different departments, including modeling, animation, texturing, rendering, and even geometry nodes were introduced, but physics, on the other hand, didn't get any major update. The same old solvers, and practically nothing worth mentioning. However, the Blender team didn't completely neglect it, because in the 5.2 update, which was introduced recently, a new solver was added, and it's called XPBD, or Extended Position Based Dynamics. You see, it was added as a new node in the Geometry Node workspace, but it is more than just a node. Let's say it is a new method to simulate constraint-based objects, things like hair, cloth, ropes, etc. So in today's video, we're gonna take a closer look at this new solver and try to understand how it actually works. Now, to clear things up, XPBD isn't a new solver, nor was it developed by the Blender Foundation. It is actually a story that goes back to 2006, when researcher Matthias Muller and his team introduced a solver called PBD in their seminal paper titled Position-Based Dynamics. It was specifically developed to overcome some of the limitations of traditional physics solvers in real-time interactive applications, things like video games and virtual reality. Here's the thing. Traditional physics solvers, such as Blender's built-in cloth solvers, rely on mathematical equations and extensive computations to solve various physical phenomena. While these methods can be highly accurate, they can also become really unstable, glitch, or run incredibly slow, especially when handling complex simulations. PBD, on the other hand, largely bypasses this traditional force-based approach. But what does it do instead? Well, it projects particles directly towards valid positions that satisfy the simulation's constraints, such as preventing collisions or maintaining a certain distance between particles. And since positions are explicitly controlled, PBD is remarkably stable and resistant to the glitches that can occur with traditional approaches. So you can say that PBD solved two major issues, speed and stability. Because of this, PBD became an important foundation for position-based techniques, which are used in major physics engines such as NVIDIA Physics and Epic Games' Chaos Physics in Unreal Engine. However, at the end of the day, there are always drawbacks, and one of the biggest flaws PBD had was that the perceived stiffness of a material was heavily dependent on the number of solver iterations per frame. So the only way to make a material stiffer was to increase the number of solver iterations per frame, and this increase, as you can imagine, in the iteration count, would affect every single soft body in the scene, which is not always good. So in 2016, Matthias Muller and his colleagues introduced XPBD, or Extended Position-Based Dynamics, and it didn't just address the stiffness issue, it also made the behavior of physical properties less dependent on the simulation's time step and solver iteration count. And unlike the original PBD approach, XPBD introduced a stricter mathematical foundation, which allowed the solver to estimate physically accurate constraint forces. So what we saw in Blender 5.2 was essentially an integration of this approach into geometry nodes, rather than a solver built entirely from scratch by Blender's developers, as I said in the beginning. So as we previously mentioned, unlike traditional physics solvers that rely heavily on mathematical equations to simulate things like cloth, XPBD starts with a set of points and interactively adjusts their position so they satisfy a series of constraints. For example, imagine 4 points connected by 3 constraints, with each constraint ensuring the 2 connected points remain approximately 1 meter apart. During the simulation, forces such as gravity, wind, or interaction with each other may cause these points to move away, from their intended positions. So with every iteration, XPBD evaluates the constraints and corrects the points' positions, gradually bringing them back into a valid configuration, while taking factors such as mass and compliance into account. As you can see, this approach makes the solver both fast and stable, while also making it well suited for a wide range of constraint-based simulations, including ropes, chains, hair, and even cloth. So if you have a standard square cloth model, which is made of 64 points, you will end up with an 8x8 grid containing 306 constraints. And here's the math if you want to check it out yourself. So what XPBD does is essentially calculate the predicted position of every single point as the simulation progresses and evaluate those constraints. If a constraint is violated, for example, if 2 points that are supposed to remain a constrained distance apart move too far away from each other, the solver applies a correction to bring them back toward a valid state. And this process is repeated over multiple iterations for every simulation step, and generally increasing the number of iterations allows the solver to satisfy the constraints more accurately, producing a more precise simulation at the cost of additional computation, of course, which is expected. But at this point, we are just scratching the surface, because XPBD is more accurately thought of as a simulation framework that you can build your own solver around, rather than making a complete ready-made solver by yourself, I mean from scratch. So the folks at Blender have already built 2 experimental solvers for cloth and hair simulation, and even though they are still experimental, I've already seen some pretty crazy projects from the community using them. If you take a look at the hair dynamic solver, for example, you realize that it is essentially a node group, or more accurately, a huge node tree, but at its core, you will find the XPBD node. So you can think of these solvers as 2 different Lego sets built around XPBD, and if that's the case, we'll most likely see many more specialized solvers built around this new node, whether they come from the Blender community or Blender's own development team. Since the closest examples of XPBD implementations in Blender, which we have right now, are cloth and hair dynamics, let's see what these 2 solvers have to offer, starting with cloth dynamics. The solver comes with a couple of settings to drive the simulation, including pin group, stretchiness, and bendiness, as well as the number of substeps and constraint iterations per frame. You also have parameters such as mass, friction, collision radius, and damping to control the behavior of the mesh, in addition to gravity and external force attributes. The solver also includes a tearing option, which can be used to simulate cloth ripping apart, especially under stress, and of course, you can assign colliders that interact with the cloth in real time. And because the entire system is node-based, you can incorporate other geometry node operations directly into the simulation, such as subdivision, thickness, or even noise used as a force to create repulsion effects. The hair dynamic solver, on the other hand, offers even more controls, including randomized values for stretch and bend. At the moment, neither of these solvers support self-collision, but since they are still experimental, we can expect more features and improvements to be added over time. One important thing to mention is that using too many substeps can actually lead to numerical issues, resulting in sudden changes in constraint response, especially when adjusting parameters such as stretchiness and bendiness. For this reason, it is actually recommended to keep substeps below 20 and increase constraint iterations instead when more accuracy is needed. The key strength of this new approach is mainly real-time performance and its procedural workflow. You see, having a physics system directly inside the node graph makes a lot of sense. Popular software such as Houdini, Maya's Bifrost, FumeFX, and even relatively new software such as EmberGen all use node-based workflows, and that's for a good reason. Simulation can sometimes become extremely complex, so a node-based system can provide much more flexibility and clarity, compared to traditional layer-based workflows. This also aligns perfectly with the Blender Foundation's long-term vision of moving toward more of Blender-based node systems, making this potentially, I think, a very future-proof approach. Now the big question: does this bring Blender one step closer to the industry giants like Houdini? I would say yes and no. Even though this is exciting news for anyone using Blender for simulation, the underlying technology itself isn't exactly new. As I said in the beginning, XPBD is based on research that has been around for nearly a decade, while software like Houdini continuously evolves its solvers and incorporates new simulation technologies. Don't get me wrong though, Blender's most valuable assets is community, and I'm sure we will see some really cool implementations of this new system as more artists and developers get involved. But at the same time, Blender's physics department is still missing a lot of key features. We recently discussed this in the external solvers video, where I mentioned how alternative add-ons can bring things like GPU acceleration, particularly for fluid simulations, So while this new approach doesn't suddenly put Blender on the same level as Houdini, it is definitely a step in the right direction. Another question that might come to your mind is whether this new approach to class simulation will eventually make Blender's traditional solver obsolete. Personally, I don't think so. Even though XPBD provides a fast and stable way to simulate constraint-based physics, the traditional approach can still offer more physically grounded behavior, and I would say much finer control over certain material properties. So rather than one completely replacing the other, I see them more like real-time rendering versus path tracing. Two different pipelines designed around different priorities and use cases too, and both can coexist within the same software, which gives you much more options. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to this channel to receive more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.